I've been studying follow-up literally my entire career. Um, Follow-up is something that I'm telling you what, man. Again, we're about to jump through a 21-page workbook, an entire PowerPoint. I realized a long time ago when I first got started in the business, when I made $117,000 at 20 years old, and then, six figures for years, and now seven figures for years, soon to be eight figures. I'm a big believer in follow-up. I was relentless when it came to follow-up, and I am confident that I can get a hold of anyone, right? Literally anyone on the planet that I want to reach that has responded to me in some way, dude, I am going to reach them. I am going to reach them. Okay, I've got a quick story before I jump into the content tonight. I remember having our sales team. We've got a team of about 15 salespeople. Back years ago, this was probably 2019, maybe something like that, 2020 maybe. We had a entire, we had a sales team of five, and that sales team was complaining about not being able to reach people who had reached out for information. They were struggling to follow up with people and get in touch with people. And I remember being so annoyed that I had a sales team that was complaining about follow up that I literally went to them in a morning meeting and I said, here's what we're going to do. I said, we're going to do something different today. Here's what we're going to do. I said, I want you to find one person in our system that you cannot get a hold of, or that is or that said they will never do business with us ever. Like, you've never been able to get a hold of them, or they told us they will never do business with us ever again, or never for the first time. Either way. And I said, I want you to write that person's name on a Post-it note. And I had the sales team bring me 5 different Post-it notes. And I said, for every name that you give me today that I am unable to follow up and contact and sell by the end of the day, I will give you $100 cash. I said, I have $500 ready to go. Each of you give me a name, 5 names, $100 each for those that I do not get in touch with and do not close as well, by the way. And I can tell you this, after about, I don't know, probably 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, I went 4 for 5. I got in touch with all 5 and I closed 4. And the last one, his wallet was at the office and it was a blizzard in Colorado and he could not get to his office to get his information. However, dude, I was like, I don't care. Let's get the bank on the phone. He's like, dude, the bank is closed, right? I was doing whatever it took. But I'm sharing that tonight because I remember those situations in my career where everybody else was complaining. Everybody else was whining and making excuses and not following up hard enough. Dude, when it comes to follow-up, I reach people. When we think through follow-up, okay, here's our agenda tonight. There's 3 pillars of effective follow-up. We're going to talk through the 3 pillars. We're also going to talk through the follow-up framework. What is the framework? We're going to talk through the follow-up methods and best practices along the way. And we're also going to talk through overcoming common follow-up challenges. And then we are going to do some Q&A as well. First is the 3 pillars of effective follow-up. Again, the 3 pillars. This is really important when it comes to follow-up. Okay, we're going to talk through speed, consistency, and personalization. These are the 3 pillars when it comes to the follow-up formula. So let's jump into the first one, which is speed. Respond quickly for maximum impact. I am telling you what, getting a hold of someone quickly, as soon as a lead touches my desk, as soon as I get notified in my phone, my email, text message, whatever, right, with our CABOOM leads, dude, people are literally getting notified within seconds of someone submitting the inquiry. And they're SMS verified, which means they put a 6-digit security code back into their cell phone just to verify it's a real cell phone number. Dude, I'm hitting someone very quickly. Speed to lead is crucial. It's one of the most important parts. Most agents do not go long enough, that they don't go quick enough and they don't go long enough. Okay, and so first impression matters, right? First impression matters. When a lead reaches out, they're usually most interested and receptive in that moment. Quick responses show professionalism and enthusiasm, right? I remember following up with a lead years ago, and I literally contacted a lady 9 times in one day. And I contacted her. I was first to contact her. This was a shared lead, by the way, which we don't do at CABOOM. I contacted her first, and I contacted her 9 times in one day. 9 calls in one day. Most of you have never went 9 calls in one day on a single lead. You just haven't. Let's keep it real. And when I did, she answered at like 8:45, 8:50 p.m. at night. And she said, Cody, I've got all your calls. I got your text. I got your voicemail. You were the first to call me. And I want to do business with you because you clearly care about helping me. That sunk in with me, by the way, that this works. And I've been literally following this follow-up formula for my entire career. Okay, the 5 minute rule. Studies show that responding to a lead within 5 minutes increases your chances of connecting with them by 100 times compared to waiting 30 minutes, right? Super crucial. Can you still get a hold of leads 30 minutes, a day later, 3 days later, a week later? Sure. But your best chances, again, it's like we want to put our money down and give the best chance of success. The absolute best chance is the 5 minute rule. Within 5 minutes, it's crucial. Super crucial. Okay. And I would say, and statistically, I think about um, it's a high 90 percentile of agents that never reach out to a lead within the first 5 minutes, but it's extremely crucial. Okay. Next is momentum. When a lead reaches out, they're already mentally engaged. A quick response helps keep that momentum going. Right. So again, they just submitted the lead, like our Kaboom leads. They went to a landing page, they filled out a survey, they verified their cell phone number with a verification code in their cell phone. They're engaged. They've submitted the information. It is time. You've got their attention. But what happens to a lead if they wait? If you wait an hour instead of a minute or two or three or four or five, right? They've moved on. Would you agree? They've moved on. Now you've got a chance to get a hold of them. If you wait an hour, if you wait a day, if you wait a week, right? If you wait a month, they've probably already bought from somebody else when you're at a week, a month, et cetera. But and even an hour, they have moved on to at least doing something else. Something else is occupying their brain, and they're thinking about something else. Does that make sense? Okay. So first is speed, responding quickly for maximum impact. Number two is consistency. Also, I got an insane amount of information and slides to go through, so I got to keep it moving tonight. Next is consistency, persistence without annoyance. Okay, persistence without annoyance. And the problem is a lot of you think that you're annoying people. By the way, you are only annoying them if you think that you're annoying them. Like, when I went 9 calls, you would have assumed, most of you would assume, dude, Cody, you annoyed that lady, man. When you went 9 calls, you absolutely annoyed her. No, no, no. I did not annoy her. I got her business. A lot of what happens, these preconceived notions are mentally made up by you and they're not really true. You're making stuff up like, hey, they're busy. I can't get a hold of them. They're working. They're at lunch. There's a bad time. Oh, it's in the middle of the afternoon. Oh, it's an evening. Oh, it's a weekend. Whatever. Their dog died. They can't talk. Whatever it is, right? You are making up these preconceived notions and we are implanting those into our own brain. The power of persistence. Most sales happen, you guys have heard this for years, but most sales happen between the 5th and 12th contact. First time I heard that years ago, I was like, wow, that is powerful. Yet 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. One. Takes 5 to 12. Most salespeople, I think it's like 40, I think it might be even higher, but 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up, right? After one. And I think it's like 80% of salespeople don't follow up once or follow up twice, right? Which is crazy as well. Take top of mind. Not every no is a rejection. You need to get so used to rejection that it just rolls off your back. Like, is it fun? No, but man, when I started out cold door knocking, talk about the rejection that it took when I was going through that, right? And sometimes is a not yet. Consistency helps you be there when the time is right. So being consistent, speed, boom. Then I'm also consistent along the way too. That is me being persistent and constantly following up. Structured follow-up, having a structured follow-up plan. Most people don't have a plan, right? Type plan. If you do not have a plan and you have not ever had a plan for follow-up, you're just like, I just want to get a hold of people. But I don't know what I'm doing or when I'm doing it or why I'm doing it or how I'm doing it. But I just want to get a hold of people. Well, we need a plan and we're going to put a plan in place tonight. Having a structured follow-up plan makes sure you don't give up too soon or forget about the lead. Okay. It makes sure that you do not give up and you don't forget. That's important. Next is personalization, making each interaction relevant, making each interaction relevant. Personal over generic. People can tell when they're just a number. I always hate that, by the way. Don't you hate that when you go into when you can tell, like, you're just a number, right? When I go into a certain store, I'm buying something online or I'm working with AT&T or whatever, dude, I just feel like a number, man. I don't like that. Like when we do events and we do the road shows, we had 135 people in Tampa last week. I literally walked and I walked around the room and met probably 120 of the 135, physically met them and asked their name and told them my name, and they're like, dude, we know who you are, right? But I'm trying to personalize the experience because it matters. And people's favorite word in the English language to hear is their own name. It's your own. It's your own name. And so if you think about it, right, your name is important. Guess what? It's also their name is also important to you. Okay, super, super, super important, right? So connection before conversion. Show that you care more about helping them more than making a sell, right? More than making a sell. Empathy builds lasting relationships, which is super important, right? Your goal is to get in touch with them, yes, but it's to make it feel like a personalized experience. When I send text, when I leave voicemails, emails, like, dude, if I can add some customization, personalization, I can use their name. I try to say their name early in a phone call. I try to say their name as many times as I can. As many times as I can. That's what I try to do. Using context, reference something specific about the lead, their family, job, or their initial conversation to make the interaction memorable, right? Currently, we ask about favorite hobby on our lead types: final expense, life, IUL, and annuity for CABOOM. And we literally have something. A lot of them pick fishing or watching TV or going for a walk or, the beach or whatever. Like they're given their hobby. Family works, right? You've always heard like the different stuff when it comes to like getting to know them, form, forward, all the stuff, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and desires. There's different ways. But again, you're using something to personalize that, right? Like they may say, hey, you may say, hey, favorite, and I'm going to get into calls and stuff too, but hey, your favorite hobby is fishing. Oh my gosh, my father-in-law loves fishing. He might as well be a professional fisherman. How long have you been fishing? Like again, you're personalized this thing. Okay, you're personalized this thing. So personalization. Okay. Next, leads are 9 times more likely to convert if contacted within the first 5 minutes. InsideSales.com did a study. This is some of the information from that study where they called 15,000 unique leads, internet leads. They made 100,000 call attempts over 3 years. Again, InsideSales.com. They published this in the Harvard Business Review. I think you can find this at CodyAskins.com/free. I think it's in some of that information. But only 8% of salespeople follow up 5 times. But it takes 5 to 12 touches, right? 80% of sales require 5 follow-ups after the initial contact, but 45% of salespeople give up after 1 time, right? 44% stop fall after 1, 22% stop after 2, 14% follow up. They stop after 3, 12% stop after 4, 8% do follow up after 5 rejections. And most people never reach 6, 9, 12, right? And so if you think about that, they're 9 times more likely to convert if they're contacted within the first 5 minutes. Yes, but also you've got to go the distance too. So talk about speed, consistency, and personalization, right? Speed, consistency, and personalization. So let's jump into some different tips for getting to your leads faster.